Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to Whispers of Om chanting here from Vanderbilt, Michigan. We are in the little town Vanderbilt, which is the closest little town to the Song of the Morning Ranch, the yoga retreat in northern Michigan that was founded by Yogacharya J. Oliver Black at the bequest of Paramahansa Yogananda, who founded Self-Realization Fellowship. And the yoga retreat was founded in 1970, and it's rolling right along. A lot of stuff is happening out there. You can check out that website at songofthemorning.org. And we're going to do some chanting from Paramahansa Yogananda's collection of cosmic chants and some other traditional chants. And today is going to be a little different because I usually have the lyrics on the screen, but we're going to try an experiment and see what happens if we don't put the lyrics on the screen. Then you'll have to look at us or close your eyes, possibly, and sing along with us.
It's International Peace Day.
And it's also International Peace Day. So we're going to have some very peaceful chanting that will lead us into a very peaceful meditation. And we also have Yogacharya meditation that was recorded back in the day at the Detroit Institute of Arts, where Yogacharya J. Oliver Black was a Self-Realization Fellowship Minister and Kriya Yoga initiator. And if you want to know more about Kriya Yoga, we certainly encourage you to check that out on the Self-Realization Fellowship website, which is yogananda.org, or in the book Autobiography of a Yogi. And probably most of you who are watching this know all this already, but you never know. There might be somebody new who wants to learn more about this, and of course we encourage that too. Wish me luck at picking out the chants. And we're going to...
Open with a prayer?
Pardon?
Open with a prayer? Prayer.
We are going to... I was just going to say that.
Okay.
We're
Checking.
going to start with... look at these beautiful ladies. I'm so lucky. These beautiful ladies are
Go
here today.
bees.
We've got Kendra is on the left side of the screen, then Barbie, and then Karen. And my name is Steve. So welcome, and we will start with an opening prayer.
Heavenly Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, and Paramahansa Yogananda, saints and sages of all religions, we bow to you all. Free our spiritual path from all obstacles of delusion, and deliver us to thy shores of eternal wisdom and bliss. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in our hearts. Om, peace, bliss. Amen.
And I did say I was not going to put lyrics on the screen, with the exception of the first invocation to Ganesh, to help facilitate your singing the Sanskrit words. Sri Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Purumedeva Sarakaye Shusarada Om Gangadapataye Namaha. International Peace Day, we're going to do a chant Paramahansa Yogananda brought to us that mentions peace in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace. And we've never done this one before, right? Have we?
I don't recall.
Oh, it's been, if we did actually, but it's been a while. Beautiful chant. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss.
Reading today from Whispers from Eternity. Okay. Help me to win the battle of life. O eternal conqueror, teach me to train noble qualities within me, soldiers of calmness and self-control. Be thou their divine general, like Krishna of yore, in the battle against the dark foes, anger, ingratitude, untruthfulness. May I raise over the realm of my life thy flag of invincible righteousness. Om, peace. Amen.
Oh, I have to pick a chant. If we would invite you to make a request chant if you are you are listening, this is maybe one of the very rare times we didn't plan a list ahead of time, but we'll accommodate a request. If somebody out there wants to post a message, we can probably see it, I think, here on our screen. Yeah, but if not, we'll just do you have one, a request?
Well, I like the Sharanam one. You know what I mean?
Sri Guru
Yeah,
Sharanam Namo. Sri Guru Sharanam. That's a great one. Yes.
Take shelter in the Lord.
Namo, and then Namo means Sri Guru Sharanam.
Namo.
Namo, I bow to you. And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Sri Guru Sharanam Namo 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 Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai 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 Sri Guru Sharanam Namo 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 Jai Guru 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 Jai Sri Guru Sharanam Namo 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 Sri Guru Sharanam Namo 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 Sri Guru Sharanam Namo 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 Sri Guru Sharanam Namo Namo Namo
1 and 3 after.
Okay. Chant to Krishna.
Tough words, though.
Yeah, that words are kind of tough. Yeah, that's true. That's true. How about
How about a Jai Ma or something?
yeah? What's the one? Bhajamana Ma. Bhajamana Ma. The words to this one are Bhajamana Ma. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Bhajamana Ma 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 Ma. Bhajamana Ma 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 Bhajamana Ma 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 Ma. Bhajamana Ma 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 Ma. Who is in my temple? Who is in my temple? All the doors to open themselves, all the lights to light themselves, all the doors to open themselves, all the lights to light themselves. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. Who is in my temple? Who is in my temple? All the doors to open themselves, all the lights to light themselves, all the doors to open themselves, all the lights to light themselves. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. Who is in my temple? Who is in my temple? All the doors to open themselves, all the lights to light themselves, all the doors to open themselves, all the lights to light themselves. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. Darkness like a dark bird flies away, oh flies away. And we'll have a lead into a short meditation with the words of Yogacharya J. Oliver Black.
So when you take that posture, whether you sit like a tailor sits on his table or not, or like a bushelman, and whether you cross your legs in the ordinary way, or whether you put one heel well back to sort of sit on it, and then lift one foot up and lay it on the thigh of the opposite leg. That's called a Siddhasana posture. And then you can change from right to left as you practice, and after a while you'll be able to lock your legs in the Padmasana posture. Now those legs, those of you who are practicing the Padmasana posture, scientifically what happens that when you lay the top of your feet on your thighs, it has to do with the nerves that go from the second center, or the second lotus center, if we describe it that way, and they branch off to go down through the legs. And when you do that, lay your feet on top of the thigh, it has a tendency to help you to forget the body. It seems like you, after a while, you're not conscious of circulation or even that part of your body below the trunk of the body. Then when you sit with the backs of your hands at the junction between the thighs and the body, and let the wrist drop down, and somehow or other it has almost the same effect on the hands, forearms, and upper arm. So all that's to the left is the body trunk. And the idea, of course, in meditation is to forget the body, forget yourself, even forget your own mind as far as that goes. And it helps allows the energy to flow back in from the from the extremities of the limbs to back into the body. And then as you continue meditating, then there'll be a natural flow from the trunk of the body, and it'll begin to go by itself back into the spine. And then after it's in the spine, when there's only one way for it to go, and that is up. And then it travels through from the length of the spine, from the Muladhara chakra or the coccyx center. It travels upward all by itself. And then when the energy goes up through the coccyx center, and all the 5 centers which are below the neck. The first center, the second center is about 5 fingers above. The next one's at the waistline, opposite the navel. The next one is opposite the heart. The next one, the 5th one, is at the base of the neck. 6th is the point between the eyebrows, and the 7th one at the top of the head. But when the energy rises from the base of the spine and reaches the 6th center, and that is the point between the eyebrows, and then when your attention is completely concentrated there, and then the spiritual eye or the organ of psychical sight opens. And then that is a door into the infinite consciousness, as well as the one at the top of the head. You expand yourself everywhere when you go out through the door at the top of the head. That's called the 10th door in yoga. But the scientific basis behind the practice of yoga is one that's been practiced from age to age. And those that are able to meditate most successfully are those who train themselves through self-discipline, through body discipline, mental discipline, and so on, to be able to forget the body, forget even that you exist, for that matter. You can sit quiet and still long enough till you feel like you have no body. You feel barely acquainted with your own self, you might say. But when your spiritual eye opens, you find that you're not a point of identity in the sense that we think of as having a physical body. You just see everywhere at the same time. You know that each one of us is a focal point, however, that if we realize our own true nature and what our nature really is, and how we are a part of God and our nature is God, like God, we are made in the likeness and image of God if we really realize that. You know, you could not only be sitting where you are now, but your consciousness would spread throughout the whole universe. And then if you directed your attention by function of the will, you could be conscious on Venus or Mars or any planet throughout the whole universe. Or you can become conscious at any point on the planet that you'd care to, whether it be South America or Europe or California or in India, wherever it might be, and be perfectly conscious. The first step toward that state of consciousness, or clairvoyance, we'll say, everyone has imagination. They can imagine themselves being somewhere, but that wouldn't really mean that they were conscious there. They just think about being there. But the idea is to realize yourself there is the same as you say you realize yourself sitting our place in the universe and where we came from, what we're doing, and where we're going. Very, very few people have the slightest idea of what's going on in the evolutionary process. But when you sit quiet and still and are able, and you forget forget yourself, let the mind become quiet and still, free yourself from all of your desires, thoughts, worries, and cares. And when you actually do that, this darkness that you see while you close your eyes will pass away just like the sun, just like the darkness when the sun rises on a new day, where the darkness is gone as though it had never been. And that's what you will accomplish if you learn how to meditate expertly. And then you will begin to be conscious of this indwelling presence. You will feel that you have inner communion with that indwelling presence. You can talk back and forth with it. You can converse with it. You can make your wishes known. You can receive your answers when you can get into that state. It isn't everyone, not all that can do it every time, but at least sometimes you can do it. Even as far as I myself is concerned, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. And if you try a little too hard and then it doesn't happen, you have to learn how to relax. But I can assure you that it's there, as well as thousands of others have declared the same thing. And all men will reach that those inner experiences where one realizes and knows that it is possible to have communion with the indwelling presence. That's why you learn to meditate. How are you going to meditate while you run? How are you going to meditate? How are you going to get deep within yourself while you're talking all the time, while you're running here or there, and chasing after this, chasing after that? That's why we have to learn to still ourselves, still our bodies, still our minds. But those that get anywhere in the coming ages, in the coming years ahead, if they're going to do very well for themselves at all, they're going to learn how to meditate and not lose any time becoming efficient at it. Because there will be no answers for your dilemmas from the outside, in the outside world, so you'll have to seek your answers from within. Pressures are increasing everywhere. Death lurks on every side. Everyone is going along the icy edge of the precipice, ready to tumble any minute. Catastrophe is in every direction, all around us. And where do you seek safety? Lift your eyes and focus their attention at the point between the eyebrows. In the conscious life, we function 5 senses, 5 different, kinds of electricity. One is seeing, and the other is hearing, and others are seeing, feeling, hearing, and tasting, and smelling. These are different frequencies of electricity, of which are functioning in the function the conscious mind. And those senses, or those 5 senses, have to be stilled, or their activity is overcome by practicing silent meditation, stilling oneself, stilling the mind, not allowing the mind to think of anything at all, that is, to be attached with the object of the senses. And when they're all withdrawn, like the 4 feet of a tortoise is drawn under its shell, the 5 feral senses back under the spirit's buckler from the world which else assails them, such bears wisdom's mark. Things that solicit sense hold back from the self-governed. May it become the appetites of him who lives beyond depart. May it chance that the governed mind shall sometimes feel the sense storm sweep and rest strong self-control by the roots. Who keeps the mastery of himself. If one ponders on objects of the sense, there springs attraction. From attraction grows desire. Desire flames to fierce passion. Passion breeds recklessness. Then the memory, all betrayed, lets noble purpose go and saps the mind, till purpose, mind, and man are all undone. But if he deals with objects of the sense, not loving and not hating, making them serve his free soul, which rests serenely Lord, lo, such a man comes to tranquility, and out of that tranquility shall rise the end and healing of his earthly pains, since the will governed sets the soul at peace. All great men meditate. They become expert at it. All those that you hear and read about down through the corridors of time are all deep meditators. They've realized the indwelling presence within their own selves, and by themselves, through their own effort. Why shouldn't we do that too? It's possible for all of us. Lahiri Mahasaya says anyone can do it in one lifetime if he sets himself to it. And if he does it with enough enthusiasm and continuous effort, it can be done in a single lifetime. Otherwise, it takes as long for one's redemption and is measured. The time is measured according to his own effort, his own effort to accomplish after he's once learned the way or what the goal to be accomplished. We must all learn to live God. And if we have a God-saturated consciousness, or if we think of God all the time, regardless of what our activities are, then you become to form, or you become to realize a cohesion between this great cosmic intelligence, or the universal intelligence, and your intelligence. They're all really the same thing. Souls are just like little whirlpools in water in a river that's flowing. We see these whirlpools form. They can represent souls. But the whirlpool water is just the same as the water that isn't whirling. And so it is with an individual. We just happen to be a little whirlpool. And then when we quit spinning so fast by slowing down, and then our little whirlpool can flatten out and become the ocean itself. And then we can understand the vastness of what we're a part of. Like the fish who might, in the water, they don't know the vastness of the ocean. They just think that they don't know what they're doing. They're just doing something, that's all. This, what we call space, is energy. It's solid with the molecules, electrons, protons. Not only those, but we have mindtrons and lifetrons. We're having our living and having our being in the great ocean of life. Our nature is life itself. When we learn how to relax, we allow that cosmic energy to flow through our bodies, our minds, and our souls, and we become regenerated. We can become more youthful looking than we would if we never find that out. We'll have better health. Everything will be better. How can one be happy if he has no peace? Happiness comes by being peaceful. Alone with thee among the mystic shadows, in the solemn hush of nature, newly born, alone with thee in breathless adoration, in the calm dew and the freshness of the morn. Alone with thee among the mystic shadows, that's a deep state of meditation, in the solemn hush, stillness of nature, newly born. You don't breathe anymore if you meditate deeply enough. Alone with thee in breathless adoration, in samadhi meditation, in the calm dew and the freshness of the morn. So shall it be at last in that bright morning, when the soul waketh and the shadows flee. Oh, in that hour fairer than daylight dawning, dawns the sweet consciousness, I am with thee.
O Divine Mother, spread thy mantle of peace over all the earth and into the hearts and minds of all thy children everywhere. Om bliss. Amen.
Thank you all. Happy International Peace Day. Namaste.
Namaste.